Hello, my name is Olga Labai, and I'm a lawyer specialized in contracts in upstream oil and gas. This is my smart contract blog. Let's begin. In this episode, I want to talk about damaging effect of contractual discrepancies. This is one of the biggest leakages of the capital in upstream oil and gas projects. On a very basic plane, the contract consists of contractual terms and conditions, often called general terms and conditions or general terms and conditions for purchasing goods and services, the scope of work or the description of the services that we are purchasing, the pricing, the HSE schedule, the confidentiality schedule, the data privacy schedule, and so on and so forth. Guess what? The procurement department takes the list of templates and takes the template out of that list of templates and puts it together with the scope of work that was drafted separately and the scheme of how they want you to price the services that you are offering into the tender. Then there are also many other requirements in that tender documentation. When you respond to the tender as contractor that sends its commercial and technical bids, you make qualifications to the terms and conditions, and then you qualify or draft additionally something about the scope of work, responding with your experience, responding with your capabilities, responding with everything you can do. Sometimes you supply and submit the alternative offer to the bid. Once you are awarded, those terms and conditions might be heavily negotiated with you by the procurement department. Often though, there is an opinion, and you've heard it, if you are in oilfield services and providing drilling rigs, whether on turnkey basis or day rate, doesn't matter. You've heard it so many times, we don't negotiate. By the way, I have a very nice video with several stories how we don't negotiate really damages our industry, and not only contractors, but the operators as well. So those terms and conditions that you've negotiated have to be perfectly attached to the scope of work, have to be perfectly resembling the pricing. And that's exactly what almost never happens. One of the simple examples is your lost in whole clause. Very often it's in the general terms and conditions called lost in whole indemnity. It's written in the form of indemnity, I don't mind, but then you have an absolutely different clause in the pricing, and those two don't match. And if, let's say it happened, you've lost the equipment in the well during the operations, and it's not that rare of a coincidence or of an occurrence, the parties will have two absolutely different clauses. Contractor will rely on the pricing and the mechanism of depreciating that equipment that have been lost in whole, and will rely on being compensated in this specific way. The operator on the other side will pull out general terms and conditions and say, well, we have a totally different story. Another example is terminating the contract. Termination clauses in the templates, whether you've negotiated them or not, very often don't coincide with and don't reflect the situation with the equipment and extracting the equipment from site. They don't reflect the operator's own interest to sometimes keep contractors' equipment and pay for it. So there is no payment after termination, there is no relationship after termination, although operators very often can be interested in maintaining those. And basically, you have a very general termination clause and a totally different situation that occurs on site during performance of the work, where termination clause, suspension clauses are just standard templated clauses that don't really reflect the essence of the services that you're providing. And these are just two examples. There are thousands of them. And with the examples, funny stories, not so funny, I will talk about all of this in my live online class called The Damaging Effect of Contractual Discrepancies. And I will explain in detail when and how you can focus on basically eliminating those major, we can't eliminate all of them. Our contracts are really complex. We don't have time to read them, reread them, and rewrite them and make them perfect. However, the major leakage of your capital through contracting, if I'm talking to the operator, and the losses, commercial losses, if we're talking about you as a contractor, happen in several areas that I will touch upon and give you summary of how to deal with those and give you a checklist how to actually prevent those during my live online class. Click the link below if you want to register, and see you soon. Thank you for listening.